Pubs have been at the heart of Britain for hundreds of years.
Cheers, Mocha.
In city taverns
and village inns,
landlords have pulled pints for locals, travellers,
And, well, the odd king or two.
myself included.
Try and have a drink now.
but with 30 pubs closing every week, our historic taverns need defending. We've ditched our bikes so that we can sample an ale or two. Get in! This is very good.
It's a
So join us for...
The Hairy Bikers, pubs that built Britain. London's Square Mile. For centuries, it's been the city's commercial heart.
Gherkin!
cheese grater.
Put the two together and I reckon I could make a pretty respectable pub lunch.
I'm sure you could, but we're not here for the pub food, dude. We're here to find out about the stories behind the pubs.
Yeah, did you hear the one about the baker left his oven on and burnt down half of London?
September 1666. London's city limits covered an area of just over half a square mile.
Over 500,000 people lived in this cramped space, and all it took was one careless cook to ignite a catastrophic inferno.
The Great Fire of London raged for 4 days, devastating many thousands of buildings and lives along with it. Today, a merry band of archaeologists known as the Mudlarkers spend their spare time scouring the banks of the Thames.
Amongst their treasure haul are some of the very belongings that got swallowed up by the river during the Great Fire.
They've come to the Anchor to give us a glimpse into the past.
So Mudlarkers.
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
See ya.
Oh, lads, all right. Good to see you. Nice to see you,
See
boys.
you.
Thanks very much for coming over.
Yeah, it's good.
Aye.
Thank you. Very nice to see you.
You're the Mudlarkers, but I can see there's more to it than just larking about in the mud.
Oh, yeah, you're actually sifting through history. And if you look at the table today, amongst all of us, we've had some really serious finds.
These parts of our history are in really good condition. Why haven't they rotted?
Well, it's the actual mud of the Thames. It's anaerobic, which means there's no air in there. So whatever goes in there comes out looking exactly the same, or if it's brass and it's copper, works like an electrolyte down there and cleans it, comes out looking like gold.
Really?
Wow.
So hence why all this is in such good condition. If you found this in a field from this age, it'd just be rotted through, you wouldn't find anything at all.
And does much of this stuff relate back to the Great Fire of London?
Yeah, a lot of it. For instance, this. So what this is a food scoop. There's an actual layer on the Thames that you can dig down to, if you're a mudlark, that is, and you're registered. And what happens is, is there's a layer from the Great Fire of London. This actually comes out of there, and as you can see, it's made of lead, but it's burnt. It's some kind of food scoop, but you can see where it's melted.
That's incredible,
amazing.
isn't it? It's going back to 1666.
I know.
Artifacts like these have helped scientists calculate that the blaze reached temperatures of 1700 degrees Celsius. After the Great Fire, was all the detritus and the rubbish, was that just swept into the Thames?
Yeah, it was an easy way to get rid of it. You just shoved it in there, and the tide hopefully took it away.
It was just the nearest river you could put it into. It's
No rubbish collection day.
No, exactly.
You just go sling it in the river.
Some of the salvaged goods even tell us what happened down the 17th century boozer.
Many taverns produce their own tokens, which could be used instead of cash. It was a bit of a canny manoeuvre.
It was at a time where the mint couldn't produce enough coinage. So let's say the lowest coin was a penny, and you're a landlord and you're selling a beer for half a penny. You haven't got any half-penny coins as change. So you'd have to make your own. So this is what these are.
It encourages you to come back and spend it at the same place as well.
Exactly.
Of course.
And we get so much information from these. It gives you the owner, the owner's name, his wife's initials, the address where the business was, and sometimes they're dated as well.
One of these pub tokens shines some light on the infamous Pudding Lane, where the Great Fire began.
Well, that's the one from Pudding Lane. Interestingly spelt P-U-D-I-N. I think it's a misconception. Everybody calls it Pudding Lane because of the bakers.
Yes.
It wasn't. P-U-D-I-N is the medieval term for offal. Because at the top of Pudding Lane was slaughterhouses.
Yes.
All that offal would have been brought down through this street, hence it got the name, essentially Offal Street, but the name was termed Pudding Lane, P-U-D-I-N. And the spelling on this token is P-U-D-I-N.
So this dates back to 1666.
That's 1657, that one.
Even,
so that was slightly earlier than the Great Fire.
That is amazing.
It's in such good condition as well.
Again, the mud.
Cheers.
Let's drink to that. Cheers, boys. Absolutely fascinating. Fascinating, lads.
That's good.
Living history. Perfect.
Who'd have thought it, Kingy? All that buried treasure giving us a peek into the pubs of the past.